Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all sitting comfortably in your homes, and I hope you've got some kind of refreshment to take a wee sip and enjoy a few tunes, and we'll tell you what the tunes are and a couple of stories. But it's very nice of Ed to invite Ingrid and I to come and play at this wee festival he's running. And I met Ed many years ago when he invited me over to play at the Boston Fiddle Rally, and he put many's a year of hard work into running that, and keeping tunes going, and arranging, and he's done a lot of work for fiddle music over the years, and it's lovely to be in touch with him again and come and play a few tunes. So I hope this Fiddle Festival weekend goes very well, and we'll start off with a nice wee tune. It's a very old tune, probably early 1800s. It's a tune called St. Phillins Monastery, and for any fiddle type people out there, it's published a couple of times. The Gesto collection, MacLeod of Gesto, is one of the sort of better known places you'll find a version of the tune. There's a couple of different settings of it. But we'll play a couple of good old favourite tunes from pipers and fiddlers around the Lochaber area. Mrs. McPherson of Inverin, which is a place away up in the right in the centre of the North Highlands, and a lovely six-part piping tune called John Morrison of Ascent House, which is a tune from the Isle of Lewis, and we'll finish with a tune that I composed with my banjo-playing neighbour, who is the banjo player in the band Dive. Colin Maru, his name is. He's from Dublin originally, and we made a tune together for the great piper and flute player from Glenouig, Iain Mcdonald, and it's just called Iain Mcdonald's Shamwood. So we'll give you this wee selection.
clapping, it's almost just as good. Thank you very much. Woo, that was a lively start.
Yeah.
I think we're going to take you to Skye, take you to the Isle of Skye just now, where most of the tourists are going. We're finding, for those of you not in the UK, there's a lot of folk in the UK who might normally go on holiday elsewhere, and they're all piling up to the Highlands just now and heading for the Isle of Skye. And who can blame them, because it is absolutely beautiful. And this tune is, in fact, this set, Ed was mentioning earlier that Iain used to play with Blazin Fiddles, and this was an old Blazin Fiddles set. It was you and Alan that played it, wasn't it?
Yes, myself and Alan used to play this.
So Iain and my brother Alan were both part of Blazin Fiddles and used to play this set, and we've stuck with it because they're just good tunes. So we've got Mrs. Robertson of Grishernish, and then into Stirling Castle, big fiddle classic, really.
Yes.
And then we're heading off for a couple of jigs, Donny McGregor, and then we're back to Skye, but not our Skye, Cape Breton Skye. Is that right? And we're taking the road to Skye with all the tourists. So we'll give this a wee blast. Yes.
On you go. Take it away, Ingrid. Take it away.
Take it away. See what I can do. Nice.
Well, we hope you enjoyed those. I think it's time for something a wee bit slower, Ingrid.
Okay.
We'll try the Northern Lass. Okay. Do you like to tell us a story about it? Or?
Well, this is this actually comes from, we mentioned Iain Mcdonald at the end of one of those sets. Iain Mcdonald is known as Iain the Whaler, where we're from. Not that he's a whaler, but it goes back in his family. And quite a few of you, if you don't know who Iain Mcdonald is, he's an amazing piper. 3 brothers in the family. And Iain toured for many years with, amongst lots of bands, the Battlefield Band, which I know they did a lot of touring in America. So many of you across the pond will definitely know who Iain is. And why am I talking about him? Yes, I know. It's because this set of tunes that we're going to do now, it starts off with a tune called The Northern Lass, which is, we think, attributed to Burns, but we found that out in sort of a roundabout way. But this set, The Northern Lass, and then the second tune is a tune that Blair Douglas, a great box player from Skye, wrote, called The Roses of No Man's Land. And it was written for the nurses in the, is it the First World War?
First World War.
In the First World War, who had the terrible job of having to go out and tend to the wounded and recover bodies from no man's land, and came home with really no support and no backup at all. So a very sad story, but a very beautiful tune that Blair wrote for them. But this was recorded on Iain and Iain Mcdonald's album, The First Harvest, which I think might be about 20 years old now. Still, it's a classic though. It's a classic. The First Harvest, it's called, and it is actually a wonderful album. I'm slightly biased, I know, but it is. It's, if you're looking for an album with, you know, beautiful tunes and back, it's lovely. Pipes, fiddle, it's just great. But that's where this set came from originally. So we thought we'd give it a wee blast.
Yeah. Iain Mcdonald and I started making a CD in 1997, and it came out in 2001. And we decided we would do it properly, and just when we had time, and then we decided that we would put a collection of tunes together, which is on the way. It's going to be called the Roshan Collection, and we started that about 16 years ago. And it's not quite finished yet, but we're hoping to have it out for Christmas time. We're just not sure which Christmas.
No hurry at all. Right, The Northern Lass. Tisha? Imagine on a cash wagon.
Oh, right, okay. One, one, two, three.
Couple of 2/4 marches for you there.
Yes.
What was the first one?
The first one was one of my own compositions for Donald Campbell from Barra, Donny Barra, they call him. He's a retired chief inspector in the police, and he was stationed in Fort William for many years.
It's always a smart thing to do. Write a tune for the local policeman.
Oh, you've got to keep
just
in there.
In case.
I haven't had a speeding ticket since. And the last one there was a lovely old quick step march called the Atholl Highlanders Farewell to Loch Catrin, which
Snappy
is a
title.
longer title than the tune itself is.
I think we recorded did we record those in our duo album?
We did. We recorded that on the Cockerel and the Creel.
We made
CD.
a duo album. Iain and I we have a recording studio here in Glenfinnan just next door, and we built it with the sort of express idea of, we were both touring musicians at the time, and we were trying to get a bit more of a home life on the go, which is quite hard if you're a touring musician. And so we built a studio so we could work a bit more from home, which has proved invaluable in this pandemic year, I have to say. So it was a good bit of foresight there. But why did I? Oh yeah, the reason, part of the reason was because we were spending a lot of time in other people's studios. So we figured we may as well just build our own studio, and then we can do all our recording ourselves. And Iain was going to do the first recording in it, was going to be Iain's solo album. But as usual, your own project falls to the bottom of the pile. And Duncan Chisholm recorded 2 solo albums in our studio before he even got round to his. And we took about 10, 12 years
Oh, we must have.
to do our duo album, but hey, that's life. We did it eventually. We did it 2 years ago, I think.
Yes,
now.
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, so we got there eventually. But I think we're going to try something new on you now,
Oh, yes.
shall we?
Yes,
Yes.
why not?
This tune is written for a good friend of ours from up the road in Malig, the fishing port of Malig, where I'm from originally. And his name is Lachie Robertson. And some of you online, I can't see everybody, but some of you will know. In fact, my mum and dad are there, so they know who I'm talking about anyway. Hi, Mum. Hi, Dad.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Henderson.
He's turned very polite all of a sudden. Yeah, Iain wrote this tune for Lachie, who is a fisherman, a piper, loves a party, just an all-round lovely guy. And he used to also have a fast boat out of Malig for a wee while if you wanted one of these ribs that would take you out and see the sunset on the west coast here. It was absolutely beautiful. So this is just called Lachie Robertson, isn't it?
Yes, it was for his 60th birthday.
That's right. Yes,
Yes.
I knew there was an occasion. Yeah. Okay, we'll go for it. There you go, Lachie Robertson.
Now, the next tune, I don't know what the origin of this tune is, but it's a tune that you've been playing for quite a long time.
Yeah, I've been playing this as a slow air, and I know it as The Bonniest Lass, but I know there is a collection that it appears as The Bonniest Lads, which I think is probably just a typo. And I've played it as a slow air, but I know, and we do end up going into a faster version in Cape Breton. I've heard it played faster, but I've got a funny feeling that the Rankin family maybe sang a song to the melody of this. I just can't remember what it is. Um, so the Bonniest Lass is the first tune in this, and then we're going to go into a tune that you've been playing for many years, and
Yes.
that we got. And I don't know if you can see this. So this painting here, I'm not sure how clear this is on the screen. So this kilted gentleman here playing the pipes. This is a painting I did of Ian's father. So Ian's father, if I move my heart a wee bit, is Charlie MacFarlane, and he is, well, he's nearly 90, and he's a great piper, fiddler, just a great guy. He wears the kilt all the time. He looks like this all the time. I mean, he doesn't play the pipes all the time, but he wears the kilt all the time. And he's got a big handlebar moustache. And a lot of the music that Ian and I play come from Charlie. And he'll always, even now, come out with new
Oh,
tunes and new stories, and just amazing. He's just
yeah.
fantastic. And that's where you got this one, isn't it?
This tune is I believe it's just an old tune from the. It was very popular in the 1950s, I believe, and it's called Hawthorne House. And there's a couple of different settings. It's not a hard tune to come by. It's in fiddle books, Hawthorne House. I think there's even possibly under another name a version of it in the Irish tradition as well. So I don't know how old and where it comes from. There's a couple of places called Houghton in Scotland, so it's quite a tricky one to trace.
But we're really lucky in the area that we're from, and maybe it's just because of our ages as well. We've got a lot of, like, Ian's father, also Farragher McCrae was a great fiddler from this area, sadly no longer with us. And Angus Grant, who I know Ed certainly knows, and many fiddlers amongst the company will know as well. And Angus taught me the fiddle, and Angus is going to be 90 this year as well, and still going strong. And we're really lucky that we just we've had people that not only played music but were willing to pass it on
Pass
as
it on,
well. I
yeah.
think that's more the thing. And in fact, connecting back to Ed, I think the last time I spoke to you on the phone, Ed, you phoned me to tell me that you'd been on the phone to Angus Grant and you were very concerned because he'd been up the roof. You'd phoned him and he'd been up on the roof, and you phoned me because you thought he'd fallen off the roof. And I'm about 20 minutes, half an hour from Angus. Remember that?
Yes, that was a nightmare.
I just thought that was so funny. It was somebody from America phoning me because Angus Grant had fallen off a roof. Not that it was funny, he was fine. It all worked out fine,
Well, he ended up fine, yes. Fortunately.
anyway, all those connections. So where were we? The Bonniest Lass.
I've heard of the fiddler on the roof, but this is a new.
The
This
fiddler
takes a
off
whole
the roof.
new angle to it.
Fiddler off the roof. You should write it too.
Fiddler off the roof.
Okay, so I'll give you the Bonniest Lass.
That's a good fun tune. That's good fun.
That's good fun.
Well, I think we're just about to come to the end of our selection for you, and it's been a pleasure. And I wish that we could all be in a room together and even, have a wee crack and a dram. But these things, well, maybe they'll come round sooner than we think. And here's hoping. A big thanks to Ed for organising this fiddle-online festival, and it's a pleasure to be part of it. I hope it's a great success, and I hope it's just the beginning of more things. And we'll finish off this set with a couple of strathspeys and a reel. The first one's called Alice Tarabang, who was a lady called Alice Mcdonald from about 5 miles from here, and she worked with my mother and father in the Glenfinnan Hotel, and she was like a second mother to me and my brother and sister when we were young. She was great crack. She was a great character. Taught us how to swear in Gaelic and all sorts of things. And the second tune is a tune by Ingrid's brother, my brother-in-law, Alan. Alan is the oldest one of 53 children. And Alan is a great musician, great fiddle player, and great bagpiper, piano player, you name it. He can get a tune out of it. And he composed a tune for sister number 23 called Ashley, and she lives over in Australia, so this is Ashley's Strathspey, a cracking tune. And we'll finish with a wee tune that I composed after hearing a story about 2 Irishmen and a horse just 1 mile outside this village, a place called Gallop. And it was old Farragher McRae, who Ingrid mentioned earlier on, the fiddle player, that told me this. And cut a long story short, these 2 workmen who were lodging in the house there decided, rather than walk the whole mile up to the local pub, they would steal the horse, which was a deer pony, what's called a garran pony, big strong horse. And they being Irish, they had no problems catching the horse at all. And the 2 of them jumped on and took it the mile up into the village to the pub, tied it off the bridge, and went in for a few drams. And they were there that long, they had to water the horse twice. And on the way home, they came starting out of the bar with quite a lot of whiskey on board, and climbed onto the back of the horse, which took off at a gallop and never stopped until it got back to Gallop, the whole mile away. And when it got there, there was only one Irishman on the back of it, and he was found very late on that night in a ditch somewhere. But it was known locally as the Gallop to Gallop for a long time afterwards. So I composed a tune to try and replicate the journey. So that's the Gallop to Gallop. So listen, guys, thanks for coming on, and we hope you've enjoyed the selection of tunes. And it's been a pleasure for myself and Ingrid to play. So we'll carry on.
Thanks for giving us an excuse to get out of our joggy bottoms and sweatpants as well.
Okay, Maha, but let's join. Right. 1, 2, 3, and. you.
Thank you, guys.